Welcome back, everybody, to the second episode of the Speakeasy Podcast. My name is Victor.
Hello, my name is Joey.
Hey, Joey.
Hey, how you doing?
So, obviously, as always, we start out with a bit of catching up.
Yes, sir.
But I have something else that we talked about to catch up about.
Oh,
and that
did we?
is, yes, because you remember when you were here,
Yeah.
we had a bit of a hangover, and we watched Drive to Survive.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
The newest episode, and I had the new season, sorry, and I hadn't watched the old episodes, so I've been I've been just
You've been binging it?
Binging it. It's
Oh,
very
shit.
good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's a bit different if you don't necessarily follow it religiously.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit different watching it because I feel like seasons two to I don't know what the newest season is. I think it's 5.
Yeah,
like
5,
2 to 4 are really exaggerated on the beef between the drivers, which is really funny.
Yep.
But no, that was fun.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I think it's funny to see the evolution because when like the first episodes, the first seasons, it's just Mercedes is just winning everything, and you're like, okay, well, and then it transitions. And also, it's a lot of fun actually getting to know the team principals. Like,
Yes.
like you could say what you will about Haas as a team, but Günther Steiner is a goddamn legend, man.
No, he carries the show.
It's just so funny. He doesn't give a single fuck what he says.
No,
so that's funny.
He's funny. Yeah, no, it's also good because the new season just started. I think this weekend, the first race, which, I mean, it was pretty good because I feel like the whole field kind of bunched back to each other. Like, I feel, other than Red Bull, because Red Bull is miles ahead of everyone, I feel like then it becomes Aston Martin, which fucking amazing, from 9th fastest car to the 2nd fastest car. Mercedes, Aston Martin, and Ferrari that are kind of close to each other, and then you have everyone at the back that is just really close to each other. So I feel like, other than Red Bull probably just straight away running away with the championship already, I feel like it's going to be kind of a fun season watching Alonso just 42-year-old maniac just running around with all these kids.
It's also very funny to see the dynamic in some of the teams. Like you saw McLaren had an awful weekend. And some of the teams are like much closer to the bottom than they want to be, and you have teams like Haas or AlphaTauri who wants to get in the top half. So that's kind of exciting. But there's almost no way Red Bull won't win this. It seems like they were just. I had to I had to double check when they did the intervals on the side, and it was like Max Verstappen was like 20 seconds ahead of Perez or something. I was like, wait, what's happening here? Like, what is going on?
I feel like that's just gonna happen throughout the whole season.
That seems like right.
It's like what Lewis Hamilton did back in the Mercedes 7-year dominance. I feel like it's just gonna be, best driver, best car, just
pretty much.
Run away.
I did see something interesting though that I didn't know, which is that Max Verstappen is also one of the world's best sim racers. Did you know that?
Yes.
That's really cool. That's very cool.
It's really sick. Yeah. No, I think he, especially during the COVID era.
Exactly. They were all streaming.
And I think him and Lando did a race together, in the sim, and I think he has his own, sim team now. I think it's called just Max Verstappen.
I don't even know what it's called, but I just saw it. I saw a clip on YouTube.
Yeah, it's really cool
because apparently it's not as easy. Most people say you can transfer it the other way around. If you're good at sim racing, you have an understanding of what to do on the track, and you'll catch up that way. But it's harder to go the other way because a lot of what you do on the track is feeling, and you can't really feel the same way in the sim. Yeah. So, but that was just very funny to see. I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, that's one thing. I've seen that too, and I think people that did sim racing, or like the Formula One, they have iRacing Championship on the Formula One game, and I think a few of them have actually started going into like the Euro Cups and a single seater, which is really cool. I think that's sick. So it's probably it's probably doable. I would also guess that because it's almost the same setup as it would be in a car.
Yes, they're
Just
very realistic.
just
The rigs
yeah.
now, yeah.
So it's understandable, but yeah,
That makes
I
sense.
think that's
It
sick.
was fun because I know you know that they do it. The F1 drivers, they're in the sims because they have to test it out, and you don't really have that much on track time in a Formula One car. So it made sense that they were simming to some extent. But him because he doesn't. I was expecting him to only race Formula One cars sim wise as well. But no, he's racing everything, Le Mans, whatever, all this stuff, which is pretty cool.
I saw, I think that was this winter break. He did Le Mans. I don't know if it was Le Mans or something like that, but he was like miles ahead of everyone. And then his internet or what the game thing just cut out.
Yeah,
and he just rage quit because he was like, "This is bullshit."
That was funny. He uninstalled the game. He's like, "I urge everyone to uninstall."
Yeah.
That was funny.
I also saw that he is gonna spend millions to build a race sim in his private jet, so he can actually race sims while he's flying to another race.
That's ridiculous.
Which is, I mean, the man is just born to race. So
yeah, and with the kind of money supposedly he's getting paid, is it 50 or 60 million euros this season?
Yeah. I think he's the highest paid one.
Yes, yeah. He's earning almost double what Hamilton is, from what I hear, which is insane.
I don't know. I mean, probably from racing, but then from endorsement deals.
Oh yeah,
Lewis
sure.
is still miles ahead of everyone. Of course. So yeah.
Well, that was pretty funny.
Well, yeah. So what else? What you been doing this week? Ever since I went away.
we just had a very boring week, to be honest. Like cleaning up after the party and all that stuff. It was
a good party, though.
It was a good party. It was for all the listeners out there. It was my girlfriend's birthday party, so Joey flew up to partake in the festivities.
The yearly commute.
So that was fun.
Yeah,
that was it, I think, pretty much. What else did I do? Yeah, I think that's about it. That didn't really do much this week, I feel. How about you? Do anything special?
Yeah, well, girlfriend came back from Australia.
Oh yeah,
she stayed a month longer because
makes sense.
Her visa wasn't approved yet, so she had to wait.
Oh,
anyway,
that's the whole bureaucracy thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been very good having her back. So
makes sense.
We just
It does make sense though if you travel that far and you have family in the area, you might as well stay for a bit longer and make sure you see everyone. Well, that's good. Well,
other than that, I think not that much.
That's good. Well, in that case, cheers, my friend.
I think
good catching up.
Cheers. Yes, sir.
Okay, Joey, here we go. It's time for the weekly album.
Yep.
And this week,
and we gave a little teaser at the end of last After Hours, which was Denny Cascade. But I feel like I got a better teaser.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right. Give me a second.
Oh, he's. Oi! There we go.
Yeah,
there we go. Such a
I got this
cover.
Yeah, I got this for my birthday last year.
That's
nice. Really sick. Yeah, and then you have this side.
Yes.
And then
that's amazing.
The inside is.
Oh, very nice. That looks sick.
Yeah. Shall I put it behind me?
Yeah, do it, man. Do it.
All right.
Obviously, for those who are like, what is the album? I don't know. It is Denzel Curry's Taboo.
Yep. One of my, actually, I think it's my most listened to album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like it is. Because I feel like Denzel has been on the top of my Spotify Wrapped for the past 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, last year was JID, which we're also definitely going to cover, and his featuring on this album. So, but no, I think this is actually my most listened to album. I love it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously we should start out by saying this is a concept album. It has 3 parts: the light, the gray, and the dark. Yes.
Yep.
And obviously we'll cover those as we go along. But it is a very special record in the sense that it's a very curated very particularly. So he's put a lot of effort in how he's placed the songs, the tracks.
Yep.
With that said,
exactly.
We start out with the intro track, Taboo, which technically isn't part of any of the parts. It is just an intro, I think. It's meant to be an intro to the whole thing.
Right.
And then I think because it's 13 tracks total, so you have 3 parts that are 4 tracks apiece.
Right.
But yeah, Taboo, give me your initial thoughts.
Well, to me, this song... the content of the song kind of really contrasts the beat and the instrumental of the song, because the beat is just very like low key, a bit vibey, but then he starts talking about being sexually, or well, he says my gorgeous beautiful taboo.
Yes.
And then he talks about sexual harassment or sexual assault. And I know from later interviews that he is taking on a persona like Taboo is just a version of him. Since
sense.
So he was sexually assaulted as a child, which is pretty rough.
Heavy
and
stuff.
It's some pretty heavy stuff to put in a song, especially in a song like this, where when you don't really listen to the song, it sounds like a really happy song. It's a bit jazzy, it's a bit vibey, but there's a lot of deep, and I feel like traumatic content to this song.
The hook itself goes, "Welcome to the darker side of taboo. All I've got is permanent scars and tattoos," which kind of sums up perfectly what this track is about. It's him exploring what his experiences in life so far has given him in terms of scars or trauma that sits within him, unresolved issues within him. And it's also something about how he makes his choices and how bad choices can take you down a certain path. It's and you're completely right. It's a very big contrast because the beat is so smooth and easy listening and very enjoyable actually just a beat is very nice. But then you pick up on what the actual subject is about and you're like, okay, well that's a mismatch in scenery. I think
it is. Yeah.
I will say it's a very, very nice intro track, and it sets the tone for the album very well. It gives you sort of the vibe that, okay, we're going to be dealing with some heavy stuff, but he doesn't go straight into like, bam, here comes the traumatic stuff. He kind of prefaces the whole album by saying, okay, this is what you can expect from Taboo. So I think that's very nice.
Yeah, I agree. It also blends really nicely into the light part. So... yeah, I think all around, I think it's a very nice song.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Then we come to second track, Black Balloons.
Featuring 1211 and Goldlink.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
I will say this is a pretty nice and very well put together track. Everything fits very well together.
Yeah.
But it's almost too light for the subject matter, I think, in some sense, because it's like, once again, very, very easy listening, like let it flow, let it float. But then again,
what an amazing hook, by the way.
By Denzel Curry and Swollen. But then when you listen to what's being said in the verses, you're like, holy, this is some dark stuff.
Yeah, it's suicide,
Yes.
Trying to make the best of life, even when you feel so bad, you kind of want to let the black balloon pop. Yeah. I do like the Pennywise, except for Pennywise, I guess we all float. I like that. Because if anyone hasn't seen it, Pennywise's like thing is that he has a balloon that floats, and then I like that. But yeah, a really enjoyable track in my opinion.
Yes, but I will say one of the easiest listening tracks. Yeah. One that's easiest to bump in the car or whatever, put on the track list, and like just you can put it
Yep.
on in almost any scenario, as long as you don't really get into the subject matter. I will say I'm actually very impressed that he goes into the suicide part as clearly as he does, because I think that's a very nice way of doing it, because he says directly, suicide not a mission. So he states up front, don't like, suicide is don't like
not the goal.
So it's not the goal. It's not something you want to do. There's a lot to life that you can enjoy even if you've had traumatic experiences, which I think is a very nice way of putting it. Also, I think the Gold Link verse, very nice. Verse 2, heaven or hell, huh? Which one prevail, huh? That's very nice. It's also, again, the sort of duality and which side do you pick? How do you view things? Do you go down the wrong path and end up destroying yourself, or do you find some way and get out of the bad situation you're in? Yeah. So it's on one hand a very easy track to listen to, but also there's a lot of stuff to like decipher. I will say.
Yes.
All right. Also, there's an outro on this. Should we just touch on that briefly?
Yes, I think
tonight on 102.
Instead it gets gay in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very funny outro. Yeah, and actually, when I listened to this album, I actually forgot about this. So it was a pleasant reconnection way. Going, oh yeah.
It's a fun one.
Yes.
Are you really making an album?
Yeah, exactly. So that's very
funny.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, the next track is Cash Maniac featuring, I think it's pronounced Nigeria. That would be my guess.
I agree. And if you know better than us, hit us up in the comments below.
Let me know.
That's
but another
phonetic version of it.
Yeah, another very upbeat instrumental.
Yes.
Moving up the escalator. I love it. It's very nice.
The chorus is so catchy.
Yeah, I feel like Denzel and Hooks goes almost unmatched. It's so it fits every song perfectly.
Yes. At least up until this part. A bit later, there is a few hooks where I go, okay, that might have been, but yes, the light part especially is very, very well put together. The hooks fit perfectly to the tracks.
Yeah. But this song, I mean, I don't feel like it has that much weight to it. It's just kind of like having money and flexing it, and
pretty much
just kind of how money kind of quote unquote fixes problems.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't feel like there's
it's not for me, it's not the like it's I want to say forgettable track. Like, it's nice to listen to, but like you say, the subject matter is not really as upfront.
Yep.
Also, I will say this might be the strangest track lyrics wise, where he goes, back in my palace, I'm fly like Aladdin, where you go, I'm not really sure what it means, but okay, go for it.
Also, me and my Lois, no Peter Griffin.
Yes, exactly.
You see my future, but you cannot have it. I see my future, but I'm not B Rabbit.
Exactly,
That's the 8 Mile from Eminem.
Very nice.
Very funny.
I also I didn't catch this originally. There's a Black Beatles reference in there.
Act like Black Beatles.
I like
Act like Black Sabbath,
but Act like Black Sabbath, yeah. Which is kind of wild. That's two like very polarizing, like places to put yourself in musically, right? Black Sabbath is way left field of Black Beatles, Race from Earth. So it's not a bad track. I don't
I do enjoy it. Yeah,
I enjoy it. It's just not. It doesn't hit me as hard as some of the other tracks, I will say.
Yeah. Yep.
And again, there's another outro. Catch Maniac.
Is it?
But yeah, it's not as memorable as the other one.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily hit me straight away.
Yeah. Then
I like this one a lot.
I know you do. It's
next one.
Sumo.
Yes, Sumo. I think this was one of the first songs or singles that came out for this album.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, so much energy and hype in this song. It's but again, not too many deep things. It's just more like a kind of an old school Denzel Curry song. You know, a lot of energy, raw energy, talking about just money and what problems it brings with it. But yeah, I love it. It just gets me hyped.
Yes, it's a lot closer to the Denzel tracks I knew before this album, and I will say it's actually funny because when I think most people up until this point knew him for Ultimate and that whole type of track where he's very hype and very loud and very in your face. So this is a big step in getting him to where he is now, because obviously now he's one of the most conscious rappers out there, putting a lot of effort into his lyrics and how he presents it, and also trying to revive some of the lost arts in hip hop, bringing back the boom bap, and doing a lot of stuff with producers as well. That's like thematically very different than his early stuff. So with that said, I enjoy Zumo. It gets me hype. It's not actually one that I revisit as often as some of the other ones, but I do like it a lot. And like you said, there's not too much to it. It's literally just a hype up track. I got a lot of money, that kind of thing.
But with that, it's almost also the end of the light.
That is the last
light part
track
of the album.
Yes.
Should we go through what we think the light part means now?
Yeah, we can do that.
Or should we do everything at the end?
I'll leave that up to you. We can do either or.
Yeah, let's just go through it now then.
Okay.
I feel like. Okay. So what do you reckon?
I mean, for me, it's pretty obvious that the light part is about him looking at life in the light, in like, this is what I can get out of life. I can have a lot of flexibility money wise, and it's also it becomes very apparent when you look at the lyrics that he's also trying to ignore a lot of the stuff that's happened to him in some sense.
Yeah,
and he's not diving into that part. He's just trying to enjoy himself and like, okay, I'm in a good place now. So and I think the light tracks are nice, but also in some sense almost too nice for the subject matter that comes later. But I guess that'll be
I feel like
later.
Yeah, I do like 100% agree with you. Like a little, I would like to touch a little bit more on the fact that he kind of ignores his trauma in the songs.
Yeah.
Because in Taboo, I think in the last bar he says something about Curry killed the pussy hoping that I could kill the hating you.
Yeah.
And almost like if you've been sexually assaulted, maybe having a lot of sex could cure that trauma.
Yes, you could get over it by going through it again. Yeah.
And the same as in Cash Maniac and Sumo, I feel like money is that kind of escape from trauma.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I 100 agree with you. 100%.
It's also the money represents two things, right? It represents that he grew up in a poor area and didn't have a lot of money, and it also represents that money can bring you various means of forgetting or escaping your trauma, right? So yeah.
But that's what we feel the light part is about. If you have any other theories, ideas of what the light, dark, or gray parts mean, hit them down in the comments, and let's have a nice discussion about it.
For sure.
It'll be fun.
Then we enter the gray part of the album. And it starts up with Super Saiyan Superman.
Yep.
Superman.
Super Saiyan Superman. Yeah, go on.
Not my most favorite track, I will say. It's very nicely put together. Once again, there's not a finger to put on any of the production or the way it's structured or anything. But the references compared to the subject matter are kind of out of place. He is obviously, for those who don't know, a very, very big fan of anime. He references that a lot.
Yeah.
And obviously the title is a reference to Dragon Ball. But I will say it's not it's a harder track to put like to understand if you don't know the references he's putting up. And so I feel like it's kind of a, I don't want to say a wasted track, but it's kind of a it's not
out of place kind of.
Yes, exactly. And it makes it harder to get into the gray part once you understand that that's the theme of it, because it kind of does feel out of place and you go, wait, but this could almost have been on the light side and on the light part, and I would have
although I feel like production wise, I feel like it moves into a darker tone.
Yes, that's true.
With the instrumental and because I feel like it almost like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
It sounds really like almost kind of evil-ish.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
Yeah. Um so yes, again, subject matter would kind of fit on the light part, but I feel like instrumental wise, I feel like this kind of fits well on the gray.
Like you can
But
definitely tell there's a tone shift. I agree with you
yes,
100%.
yeah,
But the
yeah,
verses themselves and the subject matter is not that far
yep,
away from the light side, or the light
hmm
part, or whatever you want to say.
yep. But yeah, he just references Dragon Ball Z and obviously considers himself to be the Super Saiyan. Boasting he'll always be better than his rap peers.
Pretty much, it's just him
Yeah,
flexing, saying my
yeah,
skills are way better. I'm the Super Saiyan of like
yeah,
rap and whatnot, right?
yep.
Which is not a bad. It's a pretty
No,
cool reference if you're into, like, if you understand, if you're into that part
yep,
of anime and you know Dragon Ball. That's a pretty cool reference to make.
yeah,
But
yep.
it's just it doesn't really further the narrative of the album in that sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Move on to the next.
Yes.
And I am proud to say that this do be my favorite song of the whole album.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I love
it's
it.
a nice
And yes, track is called "Switch It Up." And again, the production of this song, it's very
immaculate,
amazing,
very very nice production,
instrumental, very spooky.
Mm.
And basically, it's just about him talking us through how he got betrayed as his friend betrayed him, put a gun to his face, trying to rob him, and how that basically can leave you paranoid and scared of who to trust and who to basically put your faith in.
And also it can leave you very rough, like you become a harder person, right? Like he says in the chorus, the last part is, I'm gonna get my money by any means. So it kind of toughens you up as well, right? You become someone that you maybe don't want to be because of the trauma, right? So for me, this is a very big step in the narrative department, where he kind of opens up about what has happened to him. And this is kind of where he explores, okay, I did actually go through some stuff. Maybe I should look at it. He's finally starting to acknowledge, okay, this was something that happened, and I have to find some way to reconcile myself with the fact that I am where I am, and I still have these things to deal with, kind of.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like it's also could be referencing like a bipolar.
Oh yeah, it could be
with the chorus being like, "Man's nice, man's mean, switch it up."
No, but he also he mentions it in the
he's
verse.
Raw. Oh, he does actually.
He says brain disorder, blame this pain in Florida, bipolar, vibe over. So he does reference it.
Yeah. So I feel like that kind of references that, along with my favorite line of the whole song, being people jumping the ship when it's not sailing.
Yes.
Everybody wants to ride waves and then jumps when the ship isn't sailing. And I feel like that's like kind of, I feel like everyone can kind of relate to in some instance that happening to you in for bad or for worse, because you can have your friend robbing you at gunpoint or just lose friendships that way.
Hopefully
that people
not
just
a lot
kind
of get that.
Yes. That kind of people trying to get the most out of you, and then when it's not bearing the same fruits, just kind of being like, all right, bye.
It's also a tale that you hear all over the place, and sometimes it's friends, and sometimes it's managers, or sometimes it's whatever, right? But in the end, it's all the same mechanic, where somebody takes advantage of you, and then when they feel like they can no longer gain anything from being close to you, they up and leave, right, onto the next victim. I will say this is, for me, it might be the most complete track, except for my favorite track, which we'll come to later.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And it's just in general, it puts everything in a lot clearer focus. Like it pretty much highlights what this album is all about, right?
Yeah.
And the verses is much more on point, I feel, than Super Saiyan Superman, where here there's no debate about what this is about. You instantly get faced with what he's gone through, and you have to relate to it, and you have to go through it with him, kind of, which is very nice. It's a very nice way of doing it.
It's also very fitting how in a song called "Switch It Up," he switches up his
the flow.
His flow.
Yes.
So many times.
This is also, I will say, in general, we haven't talked about this, but his performance in flow, like his flow and cadences and stuff, is very, very good altogether.
It's very good.
Even if I don't enjoy some of the verses as much as other verses, the delivery of the verses themselves are like spotless.
Yeah. And it's not like he has one flow and one cadence. He's all over the place. He can do it very smoothly. He can do it very rough, as in with Switch It Up, or
Sumo,
as in Sumo, and definitely in the later parts of this album. But yeah, I think it's definitely very commendable. Like, it's very, very nice.
It also, if we put it into perspective that he's worked a lot with Jid, that also makes sense because those two are, in some sense, the new frontier, the new guard in flow switches and cadences and rhyme schemes, and so it makes a lot of sense that they are exploring that. Also, this being a 5-year-old record at this point, I believe it came out in 2018.
2018. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So this is obviously him trying to find his groove and trying to experiment in delivery and flow and all that stuff.
Yep, I agree.
Also, once again, even though it's Denzel himself doing the chorus, it is very, very nice, and it immediately puts you in this sort of eerie mood where you. Like
it's very wary.
It's like abrasive almost, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very. I feel like it puts you kind of on edge.
Yes, exactly.
But I feel like that's what the song kind of is talking about. How like you have to be on edge if people are going to switch up on you.
Yes, exactly.
So
exactly.
Amazing song. I love it.
Yes, I agree. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Then we go to track 7. Mad I Got It. What are your feelings about this one? Because I feel like this is a divisive track.
I do actually really like it. And I feel like the deeper you dig in this song, the better it gets. Because if at face value, the title, I feel like, says it all.
Yeah.
People being mad that you have like so much success and being envious but if you listen to some of the bars where he's like oil slick to my soil weakens, venomous words was in the poison leaking, or stuff like that. I feel like he's kind of going after he's angry that we're kind of messing up the world with all these big oil oligarchies and all of that type of stuff. As well as he touches on stuff, social problem in America with police brutality, and kind of hating, like not being happy with the government because they're not really trying to fix any of these issues. That are really prevalent.
I will say, when you put it into perspective, and I know we haven't gotten to the dark part yet, but this is a very, very obviously a precursor to a lot of the topics that comes up in the dark part, where this is kind of him figuring out, okay, wait, I'm spotting the patterns in society, right? There are some things that are keeping the same things going, like the stuff I went through, other people are going through because of society, because that's how we've done things, and that's very interesting. I feel. I mean, you're completely right. It's a very heavy track in the sense that it's not very easy to follow the verses along the first time. You have to listen to it maybe even 4, 5, 6 times before you get a lot of the meaning behind the word verses. But yes, it's a very dense track for sure. Also, there's a lot of like, what's it called? References in here that I had to go and go on Genius and find out, because it's not. I mean, Jack Frost, for instance. I didn't know what Jack Frost was. I initially thought it, like, Frost is in the movie Frost. Like like what are we talking about here, right? So once again, his references might not always land, but they always fit in the rhyme schemes, which is very nice.
Yep, and they always flow beautifully.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, he puts Stephen King in there, which is kind of nice. Like he references a lot of other art forms, which I find is very cool. Because normally when rappers reference anything, it's other rappers or other musicians in general. But him being him, he obviously feels like he has to broaden his scope. That's why we get Stephen King, and also why we get the Black Sabbath reference, because you wouldn't normally hear rappers reference Black Sabbath. So
no. Yeah.
Yes, but very nice. Then we come to my favorite track.
Yeah, it was a close second, but amazing.
Sirens.
Yep.
With the JIT feature.
Yep.
And also should we just put that out there? The unregistered,
credited,
uncredited Billie Eilish feature.
Yeah. The first time I heard the song, I was like, who is that?
Yeah, exactly. I had the same feeling.
And then I kind of had to look it up, and it's not that mainstream like news, I feel like.
No.
But from what I've researched and I know is that she sang the whole chorus at first.
Oh.
But her music label kind of told her no, that it's not allowed or something.
Yeah, they have a lot of strict guidelines.
So then she still kind of came through and was so like, no, it's fine. Just put it in the background, Denzel on top, and without any credit. But yeah, I love this. It's beautiful.
It sounds amazing. The chorus is so impactful. It hits you so hard.
Yes.
And obviously the title says it all. It's about the siren, right? It's about the police. It's about society.
Yep.
It's like they sing in the chorus. It's about karma, when karma comes back down. You know. Also, for me, the three verses here, including the JIT one, is far and away the best verses on the album.
Oh, 100%.
They hit so hard.
Yeah. And I feel, you could, no, go ahead.
There's just so many references, but what's fascinating about this for me is this is the best storytelling, in the sense that he puts you in so many places, and you can clearly, it puts so many pictures in your mind, because it's so, for once there's no references that put you slightly out of it, so you have to think, what is that reference? Or it's just him narrating what he's seeing when he grows up, and when he's walking the streets, and all the way society works, and it's so good. It's just such a nice verse. The first verse.
It's also even for people outside of America and in the more privileged parts of the world, I feel like you can still feel kind of pulled into this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
because both of them just paint such a vivid and clear picture of what is happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I love JID's. JID's versus in general very amazing. A lot of flow switches. But I love the part where he's like in the wrong going in the wrong direction with the long erection, got no protection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And throwback to episode 1, if you haven't checked it out, go check out our cover and review of Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. Where I feel like Kendrick's first song, Shireen's is it called Shireen's?
Yeah, Shireen, aka
daughter.
No. Shireen, aka Master Splendid's daughter. Yeah.
Where Kendrick is invited by a girl. He's with a long erection.
Yeah.
Gets invited by a girl who lives in a wrong neighborhood where he's not really, it's not his part of town.
No, it's he's not sure he's safe there.
Yeah. So he's in the wrong direction, and there's no police patrolling. It's just a lawless zone where you can get killed or something back, and it can just be happening to you whenever. So you have no protection, and I love that. It's such an amazing bar.
In general, the whole verse is like that. The whole verse sums up exactly what Kendrick Lamar is talking about on Good Kid, Mad City. He also says, I need to duck and not move. it's the same as Kendrick Lamar when he's Doc A, or aka Doc. He's experiencing that, right? And it's like the whole verse is just amazing. He's saying, "Oh, say, can you see 100 dead bodies in the street?" The same thing that Kendrick's talking about.
Yep. And also, I do like that it's "Oh, say, can you see?"
Yes.
Like the American national anthem, which is because obviously they are talking about America and what's going on over there.
This is the most clear-cut social commentary I think I've heard from a mainstream rap album. Like it's to the point. You there's no debate on what like it's just how they're like viewing things, where they're coming from, what they're experiencing. Yep. I also love the fact that apparently Denzel had already written his 2 verses before he heard his verse, and then he had to go back. So the verse you hear, the second verse of Denzel, he had to, that's actually rewritten verse, because he was like, this shit verse is so good, I have to go back and put some more fire in the booth.
And what a verse he put together.
Yes.
Oh,
that third
really
verse
good.
is both extremely well written, and the performance, he sounds so angry and so
kind of hurt.
I
feel like
distraught,
hopeless, helpless, just kind of
and just the way he references genocide, Genesis, it's a new beginning, like the world is going under and like you're not getting it. I'm standing here watching Donald Trump and he's acting like Donald Duck. What's the difference?
Like a fucking clown.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's just so well put together, and it's so there's no even if we are not from that part of the world, there's no there's no difficulty
confusing it.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
it's so easy to put yourself in his shoes and go, okay, as a guy with black skin, darker skin, that has to go out in the streets. He gets beat up. He sees people shot. He sees police brutality. He sees Donald Trump, an old white dude, paying his way to the presidency. I mean, yes. Such a nice, and also I love the very last bar. I'm a sinner, you a sinner. I can see the devil grinning. Damn, as if know he can clearly see what's going on, and like everybody's losing here. Everybody, there's no winners in this. If we don't start,
we're all going to hell.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much.
Yep.
Yes, by far my favorite track, I will say.
Yeah, it is. It is an amazing track.
And that is also the no, it's not.
One more.
There's one more. Yes, this is the last one.
The most commercialized song in the whole album.
The single.
The single of the album, Cloud Cobain.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen it with the music video, check it out with the music video.
You haven't? Check it out. No.
Yeah, it's obviously the song itself kind of paints the picture of this clout circus.
Yeah.
And how people, especially in this day and age, whip out the phone for the 50 minutes of fame.
Yes.
Instead of helping each other, and but another very sinister sounding beat.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just kind of the consequences of the clout chasing and the popularity contest.
Yeah, it's also about like the pre-chorus is like he says, I just want to feel myself, you want me to kill myself, and that's kind of like it has to be as a celebrity, which he feels he is at this point, I imagine. He views his fans as wanting him to the degree where he hurts himself, where it hurts him, to be accessible. He like the paparazzi's taking pictures. People want to know where he is at all times. They just want to like a headline, right? Denzel Curry kills himself pretty much. I also like the chorus itself is very impactful. The Kurt Cobain reference is very fitting for this whole thing.
Yes, definitely.
He obviously famously killed himself. I mean, there are some conspiracies out there about did he pull the trigger? No, but for all intents and purposes, he killed himself. And just in general, it's a very a very deep track in the sense that he is contemplating why people want the fame? Like, what does fame actually bring them? Like,
Yeah.
you don't really gain anything from it, right? Like he's saying,
Yeah.
you just end up killing yourself pretty much if you don't
hmm
watch out for yourself.
And I feel like all the paranoia and suicidal thoughts kind of get festered by all the success
Oh yeah, for sure.
and all the money, and because you can have whatever you want, everything's supposed to be good, and
Yes.
you just kind of
And on the other side, you have, like, in his instance, he's coming up through the ranks, becoming more and more successful. He obviously has a lot of trauma that he's not dealt with. So not only is he now becoming a celebrity, and he probably gets told he has to be a role model for young kids or whatever. He also has this trauma inside him that he has no way of dealing with, and so he feels like there's no good outcome in this if he doesn't take another approach to it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I like this track a lot, but like it's almost too commercialized in some sense.
But I feel like that could also just be kind of ironic in sort of sense. It could have been meant for it, because
yeah, for sure.
Because
it could be a deliberate choice,
especially with the whole music video of it actually being
a circus,
a whole circus. Like, people kind of, like, even though it's directed towards them, like, it's funny how it's probably, if I were to guess, the most listened to song on this album.
Oh, I would guess for sure.
Yeah. I think it's kind of ironic.
it's not one that I re-listened to a lot. I listened to the first 2 tracks. No, not Taboo, but what are they called? Black Balloons
and Cashmaniac.
Those I have on different playlists. I obviously have Sirens. I also have Switch It Up. But I almost don't go back to Cloud Cobain, and I don't know exactly why. It's not like it's a bad song. I just don't feel like it fits the vibe of a lot of the stuff I listen to. So it's a kind of one-off thing for me if I listen to it. But yeah. That does, though, end the great part of the album.
It does.
And it leads us into track 10, The Blackest Balloon.
Oh, should we do what we think of the great part first? Yeah.
Let's do that.
All right. So what I feel like, if the light part was kind of the negligence of trauma, and kind of the I don't have any, I have all this money, I can just. I feel like this is kind of his stage of recognition, and kind of opening up, and allowing himself to realize that he actually does have a lot of trauma that he has to get over.
Yeah.
And along with that, obviously the production gets way darker. But yeah, I feel like it's more the actual realization that that I do have shit to figure out.
But I think there's a debate, because on one hand I agree with you. It's definitely him recognizing it. But I'm not sure if it's him recognizing it of his own free will. It almost feels like it's bubbling up from inside him. It's like it's breaking through his armor in some sense. You get what I mean? Like, it's almost like he's still trying to cover it up on, like, Super Saiyan Superman, right? He's almost still trying to, but in the end, it comes up because he views it every day. Like, you listen to Sirens, it's presented to him all the time, referencing what he's gone through and stuff like that.
That's a very good point.
It's almost like he can't keep it bottled up, and it has to come out at some point.
Yep,
that's
I do. But that makes a lot of sense. Also, it's because the outside world is getting so fucked up. It's fucked up, but kind of like it keeps triggering to a point where you're like, oh fuck.
And also the lifestyle he's living at this point. Obviously, he's at this point he's a celebrity, so everything is amplified because he has to be in focus. So he's experiencing all the negatives of the way we've done our society, like how we've modeled our society, I guess.
Yep.
So yeah, but yeah, like I said, track 10, The Blackest Balloon. What do you feel about this one?
Actually, I feel like I really like this song. It also really transitions well into the dark part of the album, because I feel like the production gets even darker.
That's a very
Um,
noticeable
yeah,
twist,
change again.
change. Yeah,
And obviously it's him referencing his brother who got killed by police brutality, because he has this ghost calling out to him, and kind of, I feel like it's kind of almost a hit piece to his peers that they're still abusing drugs and glorifying drug use, even after so many, like Lil Peep. I
yeah.
think he mentions Lil
He
Peep in the
says,
song.
"Ain't shit changed since Lil Peep died."
Yeah. Um. So, and definitely next track hammers that down even further. Um. But yeah, I do think this is a very good song to introduce the dark part of the album. Um. But other than that, I don't have. It's. I think it's quite a short track.
Yes, it's only 2 minutes and 56 seconds, so it's
Yeah.
not the longest track. No, this becomes even more personal, and it's
Yeah.
like you say, he is now not only dealing with stuff that's happening in society, he's also directly going into his own personal trauma. Probably the thing that has affected him the most, I would imagine, other than the sexual abuse. Obviously, a family member, a close family member, dying to police brutality has to be such a heavy burden to carry. And like you're saying, he is kind of going at all the other rappers for not understanding that they are bringing this upon themselves. Like they are literally contributing to young people doing stupid shit because they glorify all the drug use, smoking weed, sipping lean, doing pills or whatever. And obviously the prime example of that is Lil Peep, who died of a drug overdose just when he was bursting out of the scene.
Also, Juice World.
Yes.
Now that could probably be a different kind of overdose, but
yeah. And obviously the circumstances are with
completely different. Yeah.
but yes, and in general, this track is. It's just a heads up. It's a check yourself. Kind of like look in the mirror and do you really can you really look at
want to
yourself?
Advocate for this? Yeah.
Is this what you want to spend your platform on, glorifying that stuff? But yeah, I like this track, but like you're saying, it's very short and it's yeah. I guess I don't listen to this as much as I probably should. I should probably hold this in higher regards because it is a very powerful track with him putting his own what do you want to call it, like experiences in there. Other than that, once again, production is stellar. There's nothing to put on that. Obviously he is featured here by his childhood friend, I think, Soldier Mook, who is doing the chorus. I think that childhood friends, right? And he's doing the outro too as well. Yes. That leads us to track 11, Perks.
Perks. As mentioned in the previous song.
Speaking of,
speaking of, I feel like this takes it kind of to another level yet again with the instrumental. It's really high tempo, really abrasive. It also, again, it's just a dig because at his peers, not only that they're glorifying drug use, but he takes a dig at mumble rap, being fake about coming from rough backgrounds.
Cole Bennett.
Yeah. I do like the sound like do do do. You're like, oh, that's late. I love that. And kind of feeling like he wants and needs to be the voice of reason in it all. That he's gonna stay in his own lane and will not promote. Sorry. These that he doesn't carry these values.
It's like up until this point, all the social commentary and all the warnings and all the like messaging has been very like reasonable. He's trying to reasoning with people. He's trying to say, okay, can you look yourself in the mirror and like, do you advocate this? Is this who you want to be? This is the part where for me he breaks almost, and he goes, okay, I'm done trying to reason with you. I'm done trying to be nice about it. Now I'm just gonna throw it in your face and be aggressive about it, because that's apparently how you guys communicate, right? And he's making fun of the mumble rap because that's how people communicate now. That's like literally he's saying, what is this like?
Yeah,
this used to be an like it almost feels like he's saying rap used to be a way of expressing struggles within the black communities,
and giving all the like giving the public the social commentary they need to understand what's going on and all that type of stuff.
And now it's like oh yeah, that's lit, like that's like, is this really what are we doing here? What's happening? He also says, I just popped 2 cents, fuck that shit. So he's like very upfront about it, like don't, like this is not it. And like you're saying, the whole front he puts on is almost like it's a completely different person almost that raps this than Sirens and then the other tracks. So I like this a lot. This is I think this is if I go to the gym, this is what I want to like listen to. This is very
for sure.
You get the pump going.
Yes,
you're like,
for
I'm mad at the
sure.
world. I gotta like get out some aggressions on these weights. It's also
Perks is
it's a track that bears a lot of like that can, you need to re-listen to it a lot to get the whole thing, because the verses are very dense and they come at you very fast. So to get all of the references, you really have to re-listen to it. And some of them I had to Genius, like go into Genius to listen, because it's like, what is he actually saying here? Like, am I like getting this correctly? But the way he just goes at rappers like, get it straight, I innovate, you ad libs on the 808, which is such a fucking cool bar. He's like, I'm out here trying to like
innovate. Y'all are just
exactly.
Roll.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he's so confident, I love the fact that he's so confident. And when I win a Grammy, I'm gonna take it back to date. It's like, okay, I mean,
hey, I wish, I hope for him.
It's a good dream. It's a good dream to have.
And I will not count him out for it.
Oh, for sure, he could
definitely not. The
outro is very nice. Finish himself. I like that outro a lot. Like, it
also transitions straight into the next song.
Exactly.
Oh my god, what a song! And it's Vengeance with JPEG Mafia and Zillakami.
Yes.
And another amazingly sinister sounding beat. Extremely fitting for the theme of this song.
Very
I feel like
abrasive.
Because I feel like all of them are just going in, not holding back, like letting their darkest thoughts kind of run rampant, kind of all over this track.
Yes,
revenge, murder, homicide, all of that type of stuff.
At this point, there's no
throwing shade at everyone.
Yeah, but at this point, there's no reason. There's no human values, whatever. This is just, I'm coming for you. I want my revenge. Like, you did this to me. I want what's mine.
Amazing features.
Amazing. And I love the fact that they've actually found a beat where they all sound amazing on.
Shine on.
Because there's so many where you go, okay, like a lot of the like Earth Gang stuff, there's like and the what are they called, the Dreamville albums, where there's like some tracks they sound amazing, some of them, and others don't, and the other way around, right? Some of them is, but it's very rare that you get a track where they're all competing equally just for how much they're shining on this beat. It's very very nice. And like you say, Zillakami is just what a guy.
Zillakami. If anyone doesn't know Zillakami, go check out City Morgue. It's Zillakami's group that he does with, I think he's called Sosmula. It's a lot darker and a lot
that's some disturbing stuff.
It's a lot more underground. But if you are into that type of stuff, definitely go check them out because they are very good. But yeah, I love how they're kind of taking a dig at 6ix9ine because
and Drake.
Yeah,
the fact that they're like, that's JPEG Mafia going, I drank, this ain't 6 is a 9 or whatever he says.
Yeah,
it's so
and
cool.
The funniest thing is that Zilakami is actually used to be a writer for 6ix9ine, and they I think I don't
amazing.
completely know how they fell out,
but there has been some kind of falling out.
There's been beef ever since. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, just I will say I'm not too familiar with JPEG Mafia. That's actually an artist I want to give a real listen to at some point, because he's put in such high regard by a lot of artists I like.
No,
but this verse is amazing. Like, it's just straight to the point. Ugh, I made it past 25, almost like he's disgusted that he's still alive, which is kind of wild.
I'm set, bitch. Let me die.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, come on, man, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the whole thing. ACOG too hard, write a hit like Akon, which is kind of like, okay, well, okay, Akon out here.
Akon did write
he wrote a lot of hits.
God damn,
he made a lot of dough. But yes, it's just a very nice track. Again, very aggressive track, very in your face. It's almost very too aggressive at some point. Like, you can almost hype yourself up too much by listening to this track. You can almost get to the point where you go, I'm gonna go fuck some people up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say in the scheme of this album, these two tracks, Perks before this, and now this Vengeance. It elevates everything, and it puts the rest of the album in perspective.
It really does.
Escalates like this, because up until this point, you wonder, like, because the transition, like we said, from light to gray is it's there, and the tone is definitely different. But this is to a whole nother level. Like, there's no doubt where this is going.
I feel like it's just thrown into complete anarchy.
Yeah.
And it's like like you said, it's like he doesn't know what to do anymore. He's just gonna go all out. He doesn't care anymore. Yeah.
This is the last resort.
And JPEG Mafia and Zilakami, amazingly just add to that. So yeah,
for sure,
such a good track.
And then we come to the final track.
Yep. Black Metal Terrorist. Yep. Do you know what it is? Black Metal Terrorist?
No.
It's apparently it's a comic that Denzel is making and really? Drawing himself.
I thought it was just an alter ego. I thought
it was it is. He's using it as an alter ego, but I think it's also a comic he's writing and drawing. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's about like a dystopian future where everything's fucked, and that's just cyborg humans or whatever the fuck.
That makes a lot of sense, because he calls himself Celtron a lot. And there's a very, very famous classic hip-hop album called Deltron 3030, which is a full album just about the year 3030, where they're all living in a dystopic future. And that is a group made up of Del the Funky Homo Sapien, which a lot of people know from Gorillaz, from the first Gorillaz tracks.
Shit!
Very cool. And also the producer is also has done a lot of stuff with Gorillaz. He's called.
Oh, that's so cool.
Let me see. What's he called? Dan the Automator. Is the producer. So if you haven't listened to that album out there, go ahead. It's such an amazing album, and the production is S tier,
immaculate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why that makes a lot of sense that's a reference for him, because that is kind of exactly what that album is about. But that's very cool. That he's making a comic. It also makes sense that he's making a comic with all the references and all the comics he's enjoying. So I will say this track for me is almost too much, in the sense that
too dark.
And the stuff he's saying there is like drop bombs, Islamic. Like he's
flows.
At this point, he's like, all bets are off. I'ma just go ham.
The gloves are off.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it is a perfect ending, because this is in that sense he's kind of describing, I think, if I were to speculate, I don't think it's maybe that, but like for instance, all the school shootings, he's kind of describing the thought process behind it, right? The dark side is literally them going from being the bullied kid, being the kid that feels out of place, feels like he's seeing the world differently, and feels like the world is fucked up, and then he gets to a point where he feels like he's back against the wall, and he has to like literally shoot his way out of stuff, right? And that's exactly what's going on here. He's like, I have to do this. This is my only way out, almost, right?
And it's also just like he's gonna keep talking about this stuff until, and he might inspire some change. But he is gonna keep talking about these taboo things like shootings, gun violence, racial problems in America, police brutality, presidents being fucking
corrupt.
retarded. Yeah.
I will say there's a lot of cool references in here that also kind of makes no sense. Like the Assassin's Creed one is kind of wild.
Yes.
How did that get in there?
Assassin's Creed, my masterpiece. Yeah. It is a masterpiece.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
He's also referencing Periscope, the streaming app, which is once again a social commentary on us always have to stream whatever, and I think it's very cool that he's also choosing, because the easy reference there would be Instagram, right? But he is kind of going the extra layer deep and trying to find something that's a bit more niche, that's kind of so that's very nice. But yeah, the chorus here is also very ominous, like finish him Zale, give him hell, won't wish him well. It's just so mean, menacing, almost evil. In some sense,
it's almost like if they don't want to listen, if they don't want to hear it out,
they have to feel
wish him luck. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, it's a perfect ending, and I think it sums up the album and the whole arc of the album very well. But it's also almost too dark for me.
Yeah. No, I mean it's not too dark for me because I'm kind of like a more darker tone to stuff. But no, I agree. And I think kind of we've almost already touched on what the dark side of the album kind of encapsulates, with just being
the easiest to get part, right? It's just him letting it all out. There's he's found no way to deal with the stuff, and now he's desperate and trying to deal with all the trauma and finding some way to get rid of all the demons inside of him. Yes.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
So, as always, the top 3 tracks. What do you got for me?
Let me have a look. I mean, I know my number 1 is definitely Switch It Up.
Yep.
I would say it's probably Sirens number 2. Then I gotta go Vengeance number 3.
Interesting. I have Sirens number 1. Then I have Switch It Up, and then I might actually go Cash Maniac, now that I think about it.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure, actually. It could also be because I think it's just such a nice sounding track.
Yeah, it is. It's very it is actually very nice sounding.
It's very nice. Like, it's literally going, how to put it? Being in a car and driving, this is the kind of track I want to listen to, right? But it could, I will say, I could also just put Black Balloons in there, because that chorus is also so nice and easy. So very, very nice. Should we do a nice Fantano score to round it out?
Oh, should we? Sure. I would say if you take this album in a vacuum, for me, this would be a 8. Yeah, just a good 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I would rate it a bit lower if you take all of his work into consideration.
Yeah, there's a big difference. If you take it in a vacuum, you're right. It will probably be higher than for me.
Because for me, I feel like he already, as an artist, after this, he has grown so much that I feel like his music has just gotten way better. But in a vacuum, this is I love this album so much.
I think for me, if I rate it in a vacuum and just listen to this album, I would rate it a 7. It might just like not a strong 7, but a somewhat light 7. But in if I take all his other music into consideration, this only gets a 6, I think, for me, because like you say, I think the following album, Sue, is so good. And obviously his newest album, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future, is that could
amazing.
end up being a legit classic, like that's almost a masterpiece. So I feel like with those two being way higher scoring and way better as a whole, way better, more polished, more well put together in general.
Yeah,
this is a 6. There's a lot of higher highs, but the lows are just enjoyable and not memorable in that sense.
Right. All right. Fair enough.
Alrighty.
All right. You know what time it is. It's time for the last call. Yes, so sir. Everyone, last orders up.
Cheerios.
Get those last dances in, those last kisses. Get the digits from the girl you've been dancing with, if you haven't yet. And let's enjoy our final drink. So with the last call, what we like to do is we're a bit more tipsy, and we like to go a bit deeper because when you're drunker, the thoughts just kind of flow out.
You get that liquid courage.
Yes, you do. So this question of the day is, what's a bad habit you have and why would you like to kick it?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, and now I'm gonna take a pause to think about it, and that's not because I don't have any. It's because I have so many bad. I think my worst habit is probably like finding excuses not to go to the gym, and that's something I'm actively working on. I need to lose a bit of weight. I'm lucky that I'm built. I have a lot of muscle. I'm a bulky guy, but that also means that it's easy to put on weight. Yeah. And so that I'm struggling to do that, but it's getting better. It's getting better. Other than that, good. It's probably the eating part, right? Yeah, like sticking to a healthy diet, making sure you get enough protein, making sure you do what's good for your body. It's so easy when you come home after a long day and just order a takeaway instead of cooking. Yeah. Which is also why we now actually do have HelloFresh. So HelloFresh.
Oh, not sponsored yet. Not sponsored yet.
Not yet. But that's actually helped a lot in that area.
Yeah. So what? Okay. So talk me through HelloFresh. Like what do you do?
It's actually very easy. So every Saturday we get a box, and you get whichever meals you. Let's start at another place. You can pick how many meals you want a week. And you can pick 3, 4, or 5, I think. Might be other options. And you can pick for how many persons. You can either pick 2, 4, 5, or 6, I think, people.
Yeah.
So then you go into their app and you can choose which... And each week there's like 20 different meals you can choose from. That's very nice. We have 4 meals. So then we go and we pick what we want. And then every Saturday a box gets delivered to us. And it's organized in 4 bags, like paper bags. And they each have a letter, and then there's a sheet corresponding, which is the recipe, and then it's literally just you take out bag G, you take the G bag out, take out the 1 pack of meat, you take the meat out, do this, and it literally takes 20, 30. I think the most the longest dish we've made is like 45 minutes, so not a lot. That's very good. Yeah. There's a lot of different stuff, so you get to try out the different like recipes, which is very nice. And obviously it's with the focus on being healthy, so it's not I mean there are some fried stuff and stuff like that, but it's also a lot of very healthy stuff. Like there's a lot of rice in there, a lot of salads, not that much pasta, so because obviously
I mean it's also about balance. Like you don't want the salad like you have the gym bros that just eat no judge,
offense,
no shame.
No offense.
That just eat chicken and rice.
Yes, chicken broccoli I could not. Yeah. I could not.
No. So it's good to have. Yeah. No, it's very good.
How about you?
Nice.
What's your bad habit?
I feel like finishing things that I start or like keeping them going.
Yes.
Like
gym, right?
Yeah, to some degree. It's like if because if people have watched After Hours episode 1, like I struggled a lot with being lazy, especially with things that I didn't want to do but I had to do.
Yeah.
Um, and like me starting something that I'm passionate about and know what to do and how to do, I can get into things really easily and really quickly. Um, but maintaining that and keeping that going for long periods of time for me is a challenge.
Makes sense.
And that's why I kind of took this on as a pet project, because I really want this to last for however long we can do this. Because not only does it get me in the right habits, because I've also been eating better and going to the gym for the past 2 months,
Nice.
and have lost 5.5 kilos so far.
Very good job.
Which
Good job.
I'm actually pretty proud of, because I'm finally back under 100 again, so that's good. But I feel like um not only does it help probably with that and building some discipline, it's just nice to catch up every week and
Yeah, for sure.
do that type of stuff. So let's hope
That's good.
we can keep this going for a while.
I actually think there's also a lot of hidden opportunities to learn in this sort of thing, because not only do we have to record it, which is obviously the fun part, but there's also we put a lot of hours into listening to the album and to write down notes. What do we think about it? We put we put in scheduling, like we have to schedule when do we record. You do the visuals and I do the editing. So there's a lot of like nice like things you can learn yourself. You can teach yourself that you can use, like a lot of skill sets that you can use in other places.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. It's been very nice to relearn Illustrator and Photoshop again. It's really nice. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, but I feel like that's probably the main thing that I'm really also actively trying to kick right now. So let's hope that stays on.
If you're listening to this, it's gone well so far. So good job, everybody.
Hey. But yeah, if you have any bad habits you would like to kick, let us know down below. If you have any questions for us during the last call, we would love to discuss them.
Yeah, for sure.
So let us know. We're almost always gonna try and reply. But yeah, I think that's kind of does it for.
I think that's about it. But as you know, as we always do, stick around for the After Hours edition, where we have a bit of a more loose flowing conversation. And this time, I believe you have a very wild topic for us, right?
I do. But you have to check it out there.
You do. Until then, see you, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.